Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Road Projections. My name is Louis, and what I do here with this is offer information for you guys. Take it or leave it, it's up to you. But always do your own research. Never take what I say as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. But let's get right into these articles I have for you guys today, and then we'll see what happens. So basically, the first thing I have for you guys today is Ripple received the full EU electric money institutional license in Luxembourg. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Then we have crypto pulls out of the free fall as government shutdown ends. It's not a complete shutdown ends, it's a partial, and we'll take a look at that as well. Then we also have Trump expected to sign bill to end partial U.S. shutdown. So it's partial once again, like we just said. Then we have digital wallets will hold the totality of people's assets, says Franklin Templeton. And we're going to cover that and see why in a second. Then we also have layer 1 blockchain Hedera H-bar dominates Sentiment's real world assets development rankings. And we'll take a look at that as well. Next thing I have for you guys is DOJ releases email suggesting Epstein made $3.2 million Coinbase investment in 2014. Next on the list is Kathy Wood's ARK investment buys $32 million of Robinhood stock. All right, moving on to the next thing. This is basically, you guys know about the test level of the 73 and the gains and stuff like that. But what the main thing I want to cover here is this, and we'll get into that right now, where it talks about 44% of people's Bitcoin is now underwater. They're at a loss right now. And I think that's something major to look at, but we'll cover that in a second. And also, last thing I have for you guys is Bitcoin will massively outperform gold over the next 10 years. All right, let's see, coming right up. Alrighty, let's check out these markets really quick and see what's going on. So gold looks like it's actually hit this little emoji cloud right here and it took off, but it's still ranging around that 5,000 mark. A lot of things are happening, so we never know what can happen with these markets. All right, total crypto market, like we just saw in the first article earlier, it's booming, it's coming, it's recovering. Okay, it has a new high here, it's coming low, it's testing it, so we'll see what happens here. All right, it could just drop off the face of the earth from this point. All right, Bitcoin USD sitting at 76,000. Ethereum sitting at 2275. H-bar, like we just saw the article, we'll read about it right now, sitting at 9 cents. XRP 159. You guys can see the rest of these prices if you care about them. All right, so first major thing that we're going to cover is Ripple receives a full EU electric money institution license in Luxembourg, and this is huge. Okay, this is not new. This was something that was done a while back ago, but they finally got the clearance for it. Okay, so as you can see here, this happened on February 2nd. Ripple is a leading provider of blockchain-based enterprise solutions across traditional and digital finance. Today announced it has received a full approval of its electric money institution. All right, electric money institution, EMI license. Okay, so I don't know. I just read through the article if you care about this, but this is huge. Okay, if you guys want more Ripple, go look for Ripple videos. I don't cover just completely Ripple, but I am, I'm gonna ride Ripple to the end. But anyways, here we go, moving on. So Bitcoin and the rest of the market is in a recovery because of the government shutdown or partial opening, but it was bad. It was bad for a minute, and we're gonna get into how 44% of things are, underwater in a bit. But my point with this is we have to understand that these things move in cycles. Okay, so I don't think the system's ready at this point, so they're gonna slow things down. Okay, like how many government shutdowns have we had in the last 4 years? Like that wasn't even a thing 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Maybe it was, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. My point being is they're restructuring the whole financial system, so they have to shut down certain sectors, reopen certain sectors, and just do all this, I guess shoveling of boo-boo out the way. So there's a lot of things they need to fix, and there's a lot of things they need to like even with the Epstein files. Okay, like there's so many people connected to that stuff. It's like I see why they waited to release some of that stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? especially past elections and stuff. Like, it would have been nasty. But anyways, moving on. So Trump expected to sign bill to end partial government, like we were just talking about over there. So basically, this partial government in a Tuesday House vote, 217 to 214 in favor of the bill, the chamber approved roughly $1.2 trillion dollar package already passed by the Senate with the fund most of the U.S. government through September 30th. So we have until September 30th to see what's going to completely happen. Okay, it seems like a ways off, but this is going to come up on us quick. So just keep it together until then. All the other stuff is important as well, but just know with what's going on with this bill and stuff like that, with the Senate House and them fighting over crypto bills and all this stuff. So it talks about like customs and enforcement of ICE and stuff. So if you guys want to read more about it, go through the article and read what this bill will cover. Okay, moving on. All right, digital wallets will hold totality of people's assets, says Franklin Templeton. See, and I've understand this for a while. I don't know how completely it's going to work, but the whole idea of a digital ID, of a blockchain, of a wallet, not your keys, not your crypto, right? It's going to be the same thing with your assets. It's going to be the same thing with your title of your car. It's going to be the same thing with almost everything you own. If you do not have ownership and authorization to sell it or get rid of it, then it's not yours. So basically everything will be on your digital wallet. I'm not going to get into the whole black law stuff right now and how the number on the back of your SSN is something and is traded on the market. But basically we're moving into something like that, but in a digital way, where all your assets on you is your credit score, who you are as an individual. Okay. Anyways, your digital score, whatever. Anyways, moving on. So again, with the real world assets, so HBAR is great. Like it says here, it's dominating the real world development rankings. So we can go down here and see all the rankings for real world assets. So we have Hedera, Chainlink, Avalanche, and Stellar. And if you guys care more about this and want to learn more about real world assets, there's tons of people online who cover this, or just use your friendly ChatGPT. Okay, because that's the future we're moving into. All right, and if you get left behind, that's only because you didn't put in the work. All right, and I'm here to offer information. I don't know everything, but the information is out there, and we have to do the work. Simple as that. All right, moving on. DOJ releases email suggesting Epstein made 3.2 million Coinbase investment in 2014. So this is pretty crazy. I've seen a lot of these emails and done research, and other people have covered them as well. And when you start digging deep into this stuff, you understand the whole narrative behind he might even be Satoshi. But I'm not gonna go that far. But let's just keep it moving along. You guys know there's a lot with this Epstein stuff, and if he made this much investment into Coinbase in its early stages, you have to understand who this person was. Okay, yes, maybe a shitty person, but these people planned this stuff. The people who he was connected to, the other investors or he was rubbing shoulders with, they're still out there. So let's not get it twisted. Like we say here, follow the crumbs until you get to the loaf. And that's what we're doing here. Coinbase might be a good investment, not financial advice, but you know. All right, moving on. Kathy Wood's ARK investment buys 32.7 million in Robinhood stock. Another person who understands what Robinhood's going to be able to offer. What Robinhood has established, like you guys remember when Robinhood came out, this was the first time a retail investor could get in easily without having to go through the middleman. So they've set themselves up perfectly for the idea of a real world asset company where you can store your stuff on there. You get me? And it just makes sense. So Kathy Wood see it, all of them see it. I love Robinhood, you get me, because that's how I kind of got into like trading really. After the pandemic, it was like, what am I going to do in my life? Like, I'm not going to continue just fighting against all these different things they throw at us. There is a way out, and we have to just play the game the way they play it. You don't have to be a shitty person and steal from others, but you have to just play by the rules in order to get ahead. Remember, you can still be rich without being a bad person. And if you think you can't, then your mindset about money and spirit are totally flawed. But moving on. Okay, so basically, this could be a red flag for Bitcoin, because if you do more research on your own, you can see. So basically, a Glassnode account manager noted that 44% of Bitcoin supply is now underwater, given that token has dropped about 30% in the past month. The token last traded below 74,000 prior to President Trump down nightly victory last November. But basically stating that most 44% of the holdings of people are in the negative. Basically, they bought higher than 74,000 and now are negative. So if these are big people, okay, they're going to get their money first. They're not going to wait for it to come down anymore. They have certain things in line where if it hits a certain mark, they're selling. They don't care. Okay. So just be aware of that if you're invested, and also understand what's going to happen to the rest of the market if things like this start happening. Okay. We already saw GameStop yesterday. If you guys didn't watch it, GameStop moved all their stuff onto, what was it, Coinbase Prime or one of those two. But basically, their stuff's on the market too now. So they might just jump out. All right, next thing I have for you guys. So basically, Bitcoin will massively outperform gold over 10 years. Okay? After seeing this and what's been happening and the whole Epstein thing, we'll see. We'll see. I think gold will always be number one. There's a reason why it survived so long. And that's just my opinion. But hey, people want to live in this digital metaverse and only use Bitcoin, then hey, so be it. I like the real world. I like gold. I'll always trust gold. But anyways, last thing I have for you guys today is check this out. Like, Maltbook is crazy. Just go here, do your own research, like we say, and look at these discussions. Okay, these are AI agents and robots. They have their own rankings. People cannot intervene in these conversations. Okay, it asks if you're a human or agent. You can create an agent and do all that stuff as well. But yeah, you can only basically read the conversations. I don't know how sensitive this stuff is, so I'm not gonna get into it. It can get very deep, but go check them out. There's over 1,600,000 AI agents out there, and they're on Twitter as well and X. So crazy world we're living in, y'all. Until next time, my name is Louis. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.